Hello and welcome back to our criminal investigation introduction class. This week here, week 3, we're going to talk about Miranda and arrest. These are all very important parts of an investigative process because if a person is not properly Mirandized and you make an arrest, it might not go through with a successful prosecution. The same thing holds true with making an arrest. Is that there are certain policies and procedures that we have to follow for an arrest. There's arrest with a warrant, there's arrest without a warrant. When do you do that? When can you do that? What's the difference between an arrest for a felony? What's the difference between an arrest for a misdemeanor? A felony means a person's going to go to a state prison if they're convicted or they plead guilty. A misdemeanor means that they're going to go to a Essex, like the Essex County House of Correction. They're going to go to a House of Correction, and the maximum sentence is 2.5 years at a House of Correction. Whereas with a felony and you go to a state prison, depending upon the state, you can be executed. Or here in Massachusetts, you can go for life without parole or life, or any other type of sentence. And so it's so important that you have correct policies and procedures when you deal with, when do you Mirandize someone, what do you do after you arrest a person, all those types of things that have to be taken into consideration for a successful investigation and a successful prosecution of a person that's been charged with a crime. One thing with arrest is arrest with a warrant, arrest without a warrant. Again, I go back to that, is that there's certain misdemeanor offenses, which you'll see a list of them there in one of the policies on arrest, that the misdemeanor has to be viewed by the police officer. There are other instances, such as in domestic violence and shoplifting, is that even though that part of it may be a misdemeanor, is the officer can still make an arrest on the basis of the testimony of witnesses. And so the officer has the opportunity to do that. Or that also happens in Chapter 90, Section 24, operating under the influence of alcohol or drugs, is that the officer did not have to witness the violation, just using his or her investigative techniques and field sobriety testing to do those types of things there. We're starting out this particular module with some information about CLEAR, the Commission on Law Enforcement Accreditation. This is a national organization that accredits police departments, academies, dispatches, and even colleges and universities. Salem State is an accredited college, university department in doing those things. Danvers has been accredited since 1987. I was an accreditation manager myself for many years and participated in writing the policies and procedures that you're going to be looking at throughout this course. What this does is that it establishes a standard that's recognized throughout the country. And these policies and procedures are guided by the Constitution, guided by law, and guided by court decisions. In doing so, when you do end up going to court as an investigator, is that you're going to be able to use these standards to ward off any type of challenges from the defense attorneys, showing that you are accredited, that you followed the policy and procedures that is recognized by the courts, and that you did it legally and ethically in doing those things. So it's a very important thing. That's why I want to establish the fact that you read these policies and understand where it's coming from. There's also a list of the standards for accreditation. And you can see that policing is a lot more than just riding around a cruiser. When you take a look at those standards, is that you'll be able to understand what goes on behind the scenes at a police department and making sure that these policies and procedures are held to the highest standard. Also the reason why it takes so long at the academy, 6 months, and anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks when you are doing your field training. And that also bolsters the fact that when a person joins the police department, they don't automatically go to become a detective, is that they've got to spend some time out on the street to put all those skills and knowledges into practice, and making an arrest and interviewing people and Mirandizing people and charging people and testifying in court. all these things before you become a detective, you've got to really be good at before you're chosen to go into the detective division. And this is why, again, getting back to accreditation, it's so important that a person understands what's going on there. And this is why I encourage you to look at that material, and then we'll go on with that when we start to go into actual crimes and see how the basis of these standards are used when an officer investigates those particular crimes in doing those things, and also in the charging with making an arrest for felony or misdemeanor in doing those things. So we'll talk to that as we move along here in the class. Again, I'm available for you by text, by email, by call if you want to call me. I wanted to make sure that everybody stays on board here. I'm here to help. I'm not here to hinder. I just want to make sure that you feel comfortable with the material that we're dealing with and all those elements that we're going to be going through. So have a nice week. We'll be going over these things when we do a review and looking at, and just I want to hope that you are staying out there, staying healthy, and keeping up with your studies. So I'll sign off at this point in time, and hope to see the work that you're doing, and keep on moving ahead into this class, going on to week 4. So take care and stay safe and healthy.